After pulling things back from the brink of humiliation against North Carolina earlier this week, Syracuse men's basketball appeared to carry some of that late-game momentum into the first half of today's matchup against 18th-ranked Virginia. And then, just like most other games this season for SU, the three-point deficit got a whole lot worse. Surprise, surprise, the Orange lose again, 72-59 to the Cavaliers, to mark Adrian Autry's 23rd double-digit loss in less than 3 years as the head man. We're going to break down the good, the bad, and everything in between for SU today here on Orange Press Pass, and it starts right now. Welcome inside our CitrusTV studio alongside Kiran, Costa, and Timmy Weiss. I'm Josh Richardson. Guys, just another one for Syracuse. Just tally them up year after year, game after game. Syracuse just continues to lose by double digits. 72-59 the final to Virginia. Kiran, your first thoughts on the game?
Well, Josh, if you'd asked me this morning how I think this game would have gone, this is exactly the script that I had for it. I'm not surprised in the slightest, Timmy, of how this game went. It's the same old story, game after game after game, and at this point, it's almost year after year. Offensive consistency? Absolutely not. You have a great game, well, the team won't get you a win. Nate George was the victim of that today. He was great, but no help. The team just can't play well for a consistent amount of time.
You mentioned the offensive inconsistency, and that's where I want to start with today. The offense has no identity for this team right now. Sometimes it's Donnie Freeman that's the guy. Today, that was not the case. Sometimes it's Nate King. Sometimes it's J.J. Starling. You never know who it's going to be, and the offensive scheme for this team
is nothing.
It's nothing. You're right. It is literally, it's hopeless right now. There is no scheme, and that's the problem for Syracuse.
It's hard to disagree, guys. Syracuse now drops to 13-11 on the season, but it was close at the half, down by just 3. Second half, it got pretty bad. So let's roll the tape and see how everything went down inside JPJ Arena. Syracuse and Virginia, and the Cavaliers got it going quick. First offensive possession, Sam Lewis, corner three, got it to go. Virginia takes an early 3-2 lead, but Syracuse, again, it was going good in the first half. Nate George, nice up and under layup. Syracuse goes up by 2, and here comes the run for the Cavaliers. Top of the key three for Dallin Hall, 14-8 UVA, and then Martin Carrier, easy dunk. Virginia caught fire, Kiran, and really never looked back.
Yeah, that 12-0 run's the big thing, and we're going to talk about that a lot, is Syracuse scoring droughts. It happens way too often, Josh.
Tyler Betsy nails the three, keeps the Orange alive throughout this first half. It's just a three-point game. Nate George does what he does. Nice one and one. Game high 19 points, 8 of 9 shooting for the transfer from Georgia Tech. Probably his best game in an Orange uniform. And then right before the half, Jakari White backbreaker. Syracuse thought it was going to go into the halftide, goes into the locker rooms down by 3, and then Virginia really just exploded, already up by 8, just 2.5 minutes, but Nate King says not so fast. Lead cut to just 5, and then Jakari White gets the steal, goes in for the layup, no good, put back jam. 9-point lead for Virginia. Too many turnovers in this one for Syracuse.
It's been a problem all season, Josh, and it only continued today. Just careless mistakes with the basketball.
Soiree gets the alley-oop, and then Chance Mallory, corner three, got it to go, and UVA just kept him at arm's length the whole time, kept him at arm's length, and then the cherry on top. Syracuse drops this one by 13 in JPJ Arena, and Syracuse just, again, it just didn't go well in the second half. They had it so close in the first half. They kept fighting, they kept fighting, they kept fighting. And then UVA just proved this team is just way too good to be in a neck-and-neck contest with the Orange.
Yeah, Josh, we're going to talk about this a lot, but a name you don't see on your screen right now is Donnie Freeman. That's the guy for Syracuse, and he's not one of the 2 best players to make the graphic. No JJ Starling either. Yeah, if your best players don't play, you're not going to win the game.
I do want to give some credit to this Cavaliers squad. They are a really good team, and they also had a great scheme to make sure Donnie Freeman didn't do anything, totally out-physicaled the Orange today, and that was a huge reason why they won the game.
Well, we only got to watch the game here from our studio, got to watch it in the newsroom on our TV. Someone that got to watch it from JPJ Arena, that's our reporter, Andrew Della Piana. Andrew, you got a nice up-close and personal look about everything that went on in this game for Syracuse, but the big thing, no minutes for Kian Anthony. Didn't get any time off the bench. What was the reasoning for that from head coach Adrian Autry? Seemed like they probably could have used him.
Yeah, I got a close look at this ball game, but I didn't get a close look at Kian Anthony in this game, again, because he didn't play a single second of this contest for the first time in his collegiate career. And when we asked Adrian Autry after this game, what was the reasoning behind Kian not playing, he said, coach's decision. He did not see a single minute because his coach did not want him out there. UVA definitely had the size advantage in this game, but to still see Tyler Betsy and maybe even Bryce Zephyr for a little bit longer than expected kind of caught me and the rest of the people watching this game by surprise to not see Kian Anthony in this lineup today. Could he have really made a difference in this game? Potentially. Height was very big for UVA, but I'm really surprised Kian did not get a single second of playing time today.
Hey, Andrew, hope it's a little warmer down there in Virginia than it is here. And Kian didn't play. Okay, I wonder if you heard anything from him. What about the guys that did play? What was the vibe in the locker room for those that were out there? Donnie Freeman, JJ Starling. It's been a tough stretch for the Orange.
It definitely has, and now losing 6 of their last 7 games, there hasn't been a lot of players that want to be talking right now. It's interesting. We heard from J.J. Starling for the first time in about a month, guys, after this game. We spoke with Nate Kings, who was also expressing some frustrations, and you can kind of tell the general vibe right now is this team, they're upset that they're not getting results, and maybe that's to be expected where you're staying with these teams, hanging on, but you can't get over the edge. And you look at that final 3-minute stretch where UVA goes on that nice little run to kind of close out business, and everything is very deflating for the Syracuse team. Adrian Autry, he says it basically after every single game. He's proud of this team's effort. They're working hard. There's still games left in the season to be played, but it's definitely getting more and more frustrating as we get to the end of conference play, guys.
Andrew, Syracuse started this game down 28-16. How did that slow start affect the outcome of this game?
Well, it definitely did, Timmy. And remember, when Syracuse went on that 12-0 run to tie the game in that first half after Nate George made that and one to tie it at 33, and you're thinking, all right, where's Syracuse been this entire first half after UVA went on a 12-0 run of its own to take that nice little lead early? So definitely a lot of momentum early on the Cavs, but you got to give the Orange some credit for stifling those chances in the first half. But again, there continues to be stretches of games where Syracuse just loses its edge. UVA took full advantage. We even saw it in the final stretch of this ball game. But once Syracuse kind of starts to not get anything going for a scoring drought, there was multiple times, 4 or 5 minute scoring droughts from this SU team, and once they get stuck in that offensive mud, there's really nowhere else to go.
Maybe some lulls in SU's offense, but 0 lulls in our reporter Andrew Della Piana and everything he's gotten to do. We hope you make it back up to the 315 safe, buddy. Get home safe from Virginia. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on Orange Press Pass, but when we come back, let's dive into some X's and O's. What went well, what went wrong, especially for Syracuse in this one. Tough loss to 18th ranked Virginia. Stay with us. Orange Press Bash, Josh Richardson, Kiran, Costa, Timmy, Weiss, breaking down Syracuse men's basketball 72-59 loss to 18th ranked Virginia. Now the Orange's 6th loss in the last 7 games. And now, while we've got a lot to talk about in this game, still a lot of action going on around the NCAA because it's Saturday, it's college basketball day. A lot of big games, one especially in the ACC, but a whole lot else around the country.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start with Duke and North Carolina. It's the greatest rivalry in college sports, and I feel like for the first time in a little while, we can have 2 top 4 picks, depending on how you look at your mocks, going up against each other. I mean, Dean Dome, great place to watch a game. It really doesn't get much better than Duke and UNC.
Yeah, it is hard to get much better than that. I do agree with you. I also look at that BYU-Houston game. AJ Debonsa, the number 1 scorer in the country right now, freshman, projected to be the number 1 pick, going against that Houston defense that is so good every year. That's going to be a fun game for sure.
A lot of fun games, a lot of big action coming up, and just so much talk about these top prospects. It really kind of has me thinking about what could have been, because Donnie Freeman came into college as, a top 5 prospect in all of high school basketball, came to Syracuse. He was a 5-star, one of the guys to really kind of lead this program out, and his stock has just fallen and fallen and fallen through his first year and a half of action. Today, no different, just 5 points in this loss to the Cavaliers.
Yeah, Josh, and I think plummeted is, you could go as far as, I mean, it's maybe the lowest it's been in a while. Let's think about the last 3 halves that Donnie Freeman's played. Second half against UNC, 5 points on 2 of 5. Today, he had 5 points total and 0 in the second half against UVA. Timmy, 5 points, 3 turnovers, and a tech looks a whole lot more like my intramural stat line than a guy that was mocked in the second round 3 months ago.
Well, I haven't seen you play intramural basketball.
You don't have to, don't worry.
But we won't talk about that. I mean, fewest points this season for Donnie Freeman, fewest points in his career. It was the worst I've ever seen him. Honestly, I mean, he was moving slow. His lack of intensity, he did not look confident when he had the ball. And UVA, they had a great scheme to defend him. They out-physicaled him, and he was getting bullied. And this is Donnie Freeman, big guy, physical, athletic, and he did not look like that today.
Yeah, I mean, the turnover numbers are bad. I mean, the points, 5 points is really hard to get over when Syracuse has pretty much said, like, the ball is in your hands, you can shoot it at will. He took 11 shots. The second half against UNC, the problem was they weren't getting him the ball. They got him the ball today, and he just could not score.
Yeah, 0 for 5 in the second half today, 10 points on 4 of 16 in his last 60 minutes. For the record, I have seen you play intramural basketball, and it does kind of look a lot like what Donnie Freeman has done over his last game and a half. He also had 3 turnovers, which doesn't help any cause at all. 3 of SU's 13 on the game. Virginia turned those into 17 points to follow that. So definitely a big issue for SU in this one was just not being able to take care of the ball. Timmy.
It's so important to make sure you do take care of the ball because, I mean, that if you don't, I mean, that's totally going to ruin you for your basketball team. And it wasn't even that it was so many turnovers today. It was the way the turnovers happened for me. They were a lot of lazy plays where you're kind of losing the basketball, and it shouldn't have happened. It's simple plays where they're going up the floor, and that's when they decide to mess up. And multiple times where guys are getting points as well, but leaving guys wide open as they're going up the lane. And that's, for me, what really hurt Syracuse is how the turnovers affected Virginia's scoring ability on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, and you talked about it. It kind of comes down to just too sloppy, and the Cavs did a great job on capitalizing when they get those turnovers, but that's what ranked teams do. That's what all good teams do. They take advantage when other teams make mistakes, and the real one that got me was the fact that they were costly turnovers, right?
And you mentioned it, Kiran, just costly, especially because Syracuse as a whole, not exactly one of the worst teams across the ACC in turnovers per game, middle of the pack, right around 10. So not something that's really been costly for them this season. Something that has, though, has been just a lack of bench production. We already mentioned no Kai and Anthony in this one, but overall, anybody coming off the bench, didn't do a whole lot. SU really had to rely on their starters in this loss.
Yeah, but that's been the story all year long, hasn't it, Timmy? Let's talk about this team and the bench. Today, 7 points from the bench, but 3 of 3 from the field. So if I'm a fan, if I'm a Syracuse fan, the one thing that I take away from this game isn't really the lack of bench production. I'm not screaming at my TV because Tyler Betsy isn't taking shots. Kind of they didn't play. That's a lot of your bench production right there. I mean, they had 2 against Boston College. 7's better than 2, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess that is a little bit better, but you got to look at the bench today. And why did they only take 3 shots from the entire team today? That makes 0 sense. You had an offense that was not working. You scored your fewest points this season with 59, and you decided to put the bench guys in, and they took 3 shots. What is the point of even having them on the team if you're not going to try to make a change and have them actually implement themselves into the game and get involved?
So Syracuse once again drops this one, and in such a pivotal season for the Orange, the most vital player may turn, the biggest thing for Syracuse, and I have to say, just couldn't get it done no matter what. And that a lot of that has to do with Sam Lewis, the player of the game for Virginia. He had such a nice game. He had 15 points. He had 4 threes. This was a guy that just knocked him down, especially at a lot of pivotal moments. There was a point in the second half, Syracuse cutting that lead back down, hits a 3 right there, brings it back up to 6. He had another one, mid-range jumper inside. That's a guy who had 16 points, 4 threes, had a steal as well. That's the type of player that Virginia needs. That's the type of player that has been capitalizing for the Cavaliers all season, and he did exactly his job against Syracuse today. He is the Orange Press Pass player of the game. All right, we've still got more to cover here on Orange Press Pass, and we'll go over some of this or that. Kiran and Timmy will take their pick on a couple different SU takes and see what maybe the rest of this season could look like for the Orange right here at Citrus TV.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Orange Press Pass, Kiran, Costa, Timmy, Weiss, Josh Richardson. SU drops another one, 72-59 to the hands of number 18, Virginia. And we've already talked about Donnie Freeman a little bit. We've talked about the bench play. There's been a lot to go over. But now especially, I want you two to take your pick. First up on the docket, Kiran, we'll start with you. Kai and Anthony, should he have played more minutes? Should he have stayed on the bench? Did Adrian Autry make the right call?
Well, Adrian Autry addressed this after the game, and I know this take is not going to be popular here in the 315. I believe what Adrian Autry said after the game. That is at least for the short term. Virginia is an older team, a veteran team, and a very aggressive team defensively. They press the guards. They play physical against the guards, and Kai Anthony has shown this year he's not good when they play physical against him. I don't think he would have played well today, but I'll give you this, Timmy. If he's going to be on this team for the next few years, I would have liked to see how he fared against a tougher defense.
Right, and I understand that, Kiran, and I think you're right that, yes, Kai Anthony does not match up well against this Virginia team. But you got to look at the game today. 59 points, and the bench scores 7. I mean, you've got to put some different looks out there if you're the Syracuse team. Sure, Kiran Anthony hasn't been great recently, but I don't care. Put him on the court and allow him to make some offensive plays happen. And that's something that Syracuse really could have used today. And you look at his averages with 9 points per game. He's had great moments this season. He has a lot of confidence when he's at his best. You got to get him on the floor and at least give him a shot.
And that's been one of the big things about Kiran Anthony, right? Those last couple games against North Carolina, 10 points on 10 shots, just 30% from the field. Against Notre Dame, he barely even played. And now Notre Dame turned into a win, North Carolina a loss, today a loss, and it really seems like SU has just been slipping down ACC play as of late. Lost 6 of the last 7. 7 games remain for the Orange this season. Do they finish above 500 on the year?
Yes, they do not finish above 500, Josh. I know, it's crazy to say.
You almost had me.
Yeah, I almost had you. I had to fake you out there for a second. But guys, this is a team that is not going to finish above 500 because the road only gets tougher for this team. Still have number 4 Duke. Still have number 14 North Carolina. Still have Louisville. Still have a game against Cal, not an easy game. Still have SMU, a team that's going to make the tournament. For me, it's the Cal and the Wake Forest game. I think they win one of those 2. And then, okay, they beat Pitt last game of the season. The rest of the games they lose. That means 2-5 the rest of the season. And means they finish 15-16 under 500.
I'll give you these ranked teams. They won't beat Duke. They won't beat Louisville. They won't beat North Carolina. They'll beat Wake Forest. They'll beat Pitt. And then you just need to steal one of SMU or Cal. Chris Bell, return game to the Dome coming up this week. Give me the Orange in that one, or give me the Orange against SMU. Neither of those 2 teams are that good, Timmy. You just need one of them.
SMU is going to make March Madness, Kiran. That's a good team right there. It's not going to be easy for SU to just sneak past them like that. And, I mean, the other games, we already talked about it. No chance in some of them. And I just don't see this team being consistent enough.
Josh, you're the tiebreaker.
Yeah,
Who do you have?
so I'll lay it out right now. Syracuse has to go 5-2 in the last 7 to finish at 500 in ACC play. That would require beating one of Duke, UNC, Louisville. I don't think that's going to happen. But overall on the season, to finish at 500 or above 500, to go 16-50 and have to go 3-4, you have to think Pitt can be a win, right? But then you have to beat either Cal, SMU, you have to beat Wake Forest. Those are not easy games, especially with how SU has played of late. Lost to BC, the worst team in the ACC, a couple weeks ago.
No, I'll agree with you with that. And I think we're all on the same page there. I think in ACC play, not above 500. Overall, you can toss that Stonehill win in there, and that pushes you just over that threshold.
It might. It might. And you know what? There's only one way to find out. That's why we play the game. And now, this isn't just the only game that went on for Syracuse athletics over this weekend, because we had some lacrosse action. SU men's lax in the Dome, taking on St. Joe's. We'll cover that, and we'll get Kiran and Timmy to sound off on this SU loss to Virginia. Stay right here on Orange Press Pass. We'll be right back.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How is it? Is it good?
Syracuse 59, number 18 Virginia 72. Orange Press Pass. Kiran, Costa, Timmy, Weiss, Josh Richardson breaking everything down. Now, guys, There was, it wasn't a very good day for Syracuse, as the last couple of games have been. But check this out, because this is something that ESPN caught pregame. And now how funny is this? This is Donnie Freeman. He's eating an Uncrustable, and he's taking the non-existent type crust off of the Uncrustable. What is he doing?
I mean, maybe Donnie's like me. He's just trying to watch his calories a little bit. He took off like half the bread in that. That's not a bad idea.
That's some weird stuff right there. I mean, I don't know if that affected his play today. Is that something he always does?
I mean, my issue is the fact that our best player's biggest story today was the fact that he took some bread off another piece of bread.
That's a very good point. The other thing I was wondering is why he just tossed it on the ground. Like, there was no trash can there. That doesn't seem very great to do. So interesting from Donnie Freeman.
Kind of weird. Uncrustable, I mean, it's in the name. Well, again, Donnie Freeman, that might be the highlight of this game for Syracuse, but otherwise, definitely not the highlight of athletics on SU campus today, because Syracuse men's lacrosse just keeps on rolling and did against St. Joseph's today. 20-2. Wow, what a way to start 2-0 for the Orange.
Yeah, and I'd love to get really excited about this one. This one I sort of have the same idea that I did after Syracuse men's basketball win over Stonehill or Syracuse football, 60-3 wins to start the season. These are ones you have to win, but you're doing it in a dominant fashion.
And, I mean, St. Joseph's isn't that bad of a team. They were receiving some votes for the AP poll, and, I mean, it was an absolute joke in the Dome. Joey Spallina just looks so good. 8 points for him. I don't know, guys. This Syracuse team, it could be the year. The national championship, we'll find out next week against Maryland. That will be the test. The #1 team in the nation comes to the Dome.
Yeah, gonna have to get through Virginia. And you mentioned Spallina, Timmy, because also 8 points today, now just 48 away from tying Mikey Powell's career all-time points record in Orange. But all right, now we've heard from you guys a lot, and now I want to hear from you one more time. Your final thoughts, sound off on this SU loss.
Well, it definitely wasn't pretty today, as it's been all year. This year's Syracuse men's basketball team finds ways to lose just about every single game possible. Let's start with the ones against the bad teams. Boston College on the road, everyone's saying it was a gimme. They blow an 8-point lead late and give up a buzzer beater to send it to overtime. Okay, you go down to North Carolina, Chapel Hill, the Dean Dome, one of the toughest places to play. You go from down 32 to just down 10. Too little, too late. And then you have games like today where you're just pretty much outmatched in every single facet of the game. This team cannot win and cannot play 8 straight minutes of consistent basketball.
So, you remember last season, Syracuse fans, when the Orange had one of their worst years in nearly 50 years. Well, what if I told you that Syracuse might have an even worse conference record than they did last season this year? And that's because Syracuse right now is 4-7, and with 7 games to go, I expect them to go 2-5 the rest of the season. Last year, they went 7-13. Syracuse is going to go 6-12 in conference if they just get 2 more wins, and that's because they got Duke, they got North Carolina, they got Louisville, they got games against SMU, a tournament team. I mean, it is tough for this team against Cal and Wake Forest, not easy games. Expect them to win 1. It is looking rough for this team. Could be even worse than last year. Crazy to say.
Timmy, I'd love to see if that ends up happening. But we've still got more to go over here on Orange Press Pass. At least, maybe not us, but the next crew that comes in, because the next OPP, that will be tomorrow. Syracuse women's basketball plays its toughest home game so far on the schedule, number 6 Louisville. Felicia Leggett-Jack's squad has been doing pretty good this season, but that is going to be a real test, similar to how Michigan was early in the season during that tournament.
Yeah, win or loss, this one's going to be a lot more fun to talk about. I can tell you that Coach Jack and company, they've got something going on that program. I can tell you that.
This is huge for this team. If they show that they can compete with this Louisville team, probably the best team in the ACC, then they can go pretty much anywhere. This is a game that is a test to show how good you really are. Syracuse women's basketball, show us that you have what it takes on Sunday.
Well, fingers crossed, maybe one of the two SU Hoops teams can get a win over this weekend. That's all the time we have on our show today. For Kiran, Costa, Timmy, Weiss, our wonderful production team, I'm Josh Richardson signing off from just yet another loss for Syracuse men's hoops. 72-59 to Virginia. SU has lost 6 of its last 7. Have a good day.